So the club in my hands is a 7-iron. But in this video, I'm going to tell you why that number on the bottom of your golf club means absolutely nothing. And I'm also going to explain why hitting your 7-iron like a putter could really help your game. Okay, so if you played the golf for any length of time, you're going to think to yourself, Chris, what on earth are you on about? Of course the numbers on the bottom of the clubs mean something. And why on earth would I want to hit my 7-iron like a putter? But as we progress through this video, I really feel there's going to be some information here which could help you. And when I say help you, I'm specifically talking about hitting the iron clubs more solid, with more compression and further. Have you ever wondered how the best players in the world seem to achieve ridiculous distances with their irons? You know, some of these best players will hit their 7-irons in the region of 200 yards and it looks effortless. Well, today I'm going to explain to you how they do it, why that's probably different to what you do in your golf swing, and then more importantly, a little simple drill that we can use to fix that. So just before we get started, just drop down in the comments box and let me know, what would you think is the biggest difference between an elite golfer, a pro, and yourself in terms of distance? Why do they hit it further? Is it strength? Is it speed? Is it strike? It'd be interesting to get your thoughts on that. So let's start this video. You can see I've got TrackMan down here. I'm going to hit a shot into the green, down in the distance. I'm going to use some data and we're going to have a look at one specific number which is really going to help us through this video. Okay, a little off balance, but it should be on the green, just right side. So what you can see on the TrackMan data there is a number called dynamic loft. Dynamic loft is basically recording how much loft did my golf club have when it made contact with the ball. Okay, that number says 23.4 degrees. So my 7-iron had 23.4 degrees at impact. Now, TaylorMade, who make this 7-iron, build this with 34 degrees of loft. So if you measure the loft on my 7-iron, it's got 34 degrees of loft. But as you can see, I don't hit the ball with 34 degrees of loft. I take pretty much 10 degrees of loft off that golf club and present 23.4. Now, if you're someone who, you know, doesn't hit the golf ball as far as you'd like, certainly not as far as the pros, what we generally see is that you would be delivering a loft which is too close to what the manufacturers put on that golf club. It might be sort of 34 degrees. Now, if I asked you to hit a 5-iron versus a 7-iron, which one would expect to go the furthest, it'd be the 5-iron. The 5-iron goes further because it's got less loft. So if I stand here with a 7-iron and deliver 23 degrees, and you deliver 34 degrees, guess who's going to hit the ball the furthest? It's going to be me because I'm presenting less loft. I'm effectively using a lower lofted club. So when we go right back to the start and I said that number means nothing, all it really tells us is what TaylorMade have built on that golf club. It doesn't tell me what I'm going to present at impact. I could present 15 degrees or 40 degrees and get completely different ball flights, completely different distances, and obviously use the club in very different ways. So all the best players de-loft every golf club in the bag, bar maybe the 3-wood and the driver. How do they do that? Well, it's all to do with what they do with the club face. If I took a setup here and I twisted the golf club closed, okay, so you can see I've twisted it closed. When I close the golf club, I take loft off the club, okay? Now watch what happens if I was to push my hands forwards. Well, now you'll notice that the club is no longer closed, the grooves are vertical again. So what I've been able to do here is I've been able to take the loft off the club, but still have it pointing in the right direction by having my handle forwards. And when I drop down, this is what we tend to see with all the best players in the world. Maybe not quite this extreme, but this sort of movement. Might be the case that in your golf swing, you see something a little bit more like this. And it's all to do with how they and how you use your lead wrist. So here is one of the simplest little drills that you can do to understand how to move that wrist through the golf swing. I'm going to get you to take a golf ball in your lead hand and just take a normal address to this golf ball. Now from here, I just want you to make a little backswing and hold it. Okay, now if I open up my hand, I could almost, not quite because it dropped out, but I could almost keep that golf ball in my hand comfortably. The reason for that is because I've got excessive cupping in that wrist. What I really want you to try and do is feel like when you get to the top of the golf swing, if you open up your hand, the ball would just drop. What that's going to do is it's going to basically put your lead wrist into a position at the top where it's fairly flat, if not a little bit arched. Okay? That's going to allow you to drop the golf ball. From that position, here, what I'd love you to do is work yourself down to a delivery position and again, open up your hand. Now again, you can see that I'm holding the golf ball and it's not dropping anywhere. If I have my wrist in this very cupped position, which we see so commonly, the palm will face downwards, the golf ball will drop. So when we look at the loft that's on the golf club at impact, the best players are producing less loft. The weaker golfers, you might be in that category, are producing more loft. It very much relates to where this left hand is. Let's give you two extreme examples. Let's look at someone like a Brooks Koepka. It's going to be somewhere here at delivery position. If I took away the golf club, open up my hand, not quite enough to hold a golf ball, but it's that sort of idea. We look at the typical golfer that we see. Club face is way open up the left hand, palm faces the floor. You can see that big difference. That little exercise of that ball going, dropping it here, holding it here, is going to get you to learn how to move that wrist through the golf swing. It's a dry drill, there's no club, there's no ball. It's going to be relatively easy to do that, but it's going to help you understand the movement. So the other thing we said we wanted to do was get you to hit your 7-iron like a putter. Okay, why would I get you to do that? Well, let me give you a little demonstration. I'm going to take my address to this ball. You can see it's teed up. I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to put my left wrist in that position. I'm going to work it down into this position where I felt like I had my hand more underneath the golf club. And then from there, what I want to do is move the golf club through the golf ball and get my ball to roll like a putt. What I did is I basically learned on that particular swing how to take a golf club with 34 degrees loft and how to deliver it with close to zero and have the club point straight. Ball went very short distance, but again, I'm learning how to do this. Being able to control how much loft you present at impact is a skill. It's a skill which we have to train, we have to develop. The best golfers in the world have that skill. They can flight the ball lower, medium, high, just at will because they have that skill. Watch what happens if I find this poor position here, face is open. I really will struggle to do anything other than hit the ball into the air with loft. So the number on the club means nothing. It's all to do with what you present. And if you feel like you present too much loft, costing you distance, practice this little exercise, how to hit a 7-iron like a putter. You're learning how to take the loft on the club, how to trap the loft off the club, still present square face, and trust me, you will start to hit the ball more solid because you'll be able to hit it higher in the face. That's where we want to hit it from. You'll be able to get more ball speed because more ball speed comes from a lower lofted club. You're going to get much stronger ball flights, and ultimately you're going to hit the ball further, as far as Brooks Koepka, as far as Dustin Johnson. It's not a guarantee, but you'll be closer to them and you'll be definitely a little bit ahead of your playing partners, I'm sure of it. So, learning how to control the loft on the golf club is essential. All the best golfers out there de-loft their irons at impact. That's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why they're able to hit the ball further on a better flight with more compression and more consistency. If you're struggling with any of those things, check this in your golf swing. There's a very good chance it will be something you need to work on. So hopefully that helps. Slightly different way of looking at it. Hopefully the TrackMan numbers helped that process. Use your stuff down below, comments box, like button, and I'd love to be a part of the channel. There is a subscribe button down there. Just click that click along with a little bell icon, and it means you'll be notified each time a new video gets released. Thanks for watching.